Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to the true kings of comedy in the '90s. Who were the true kings of comedy in the '90s? This is by Cuz I'm Black TV. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
But you know what? The thing is, you have to know where you are within yourself. You know, and I do Bernie Mac. I don't worry about what somebody else does. I got to do what I have to do. Mainstream didn't make Bernie Mac. Hollywood didn't make Bernie Mac. These people out here.
So roughly over a week ago was the 16th anniversary of Bernie Mac's passing, which even today, it still hurts. It still hurts my soul that we lost the legendary Bernie Mac. Oh, it's so hard
To say goodbye to yesterday.
Da, 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 da. I don't know where to go.
I'm sorry, my bad, y'all. I think of Bernie Mac, I reminisce. Like, I started to get the reminiscence, you know what I mean? All the great moments that Bernie Mac has given us through the years. When I think of Bernie Mac, I think of one particular scene from the Bernie Mac show, which goes a little something like this.
I hate Whoopi Goldberg's lip.
Strong.
At the back and forth, we connect.
Time to celebrate.
You know, over the past week, I started watching old
Better
episodes
to
of
give
the
to
Bernie Mac
receive, my
show.
brother. Look,
Watch some of his
look, she
stand-ups.
bending over.
And
The
of course,
Lord
I
have
had to
mercy.
go
The
to
Lord is my
probably
shepherd.
his most
He know what I want. Excuse me, brother.
infamous works, which was his set
Fuck the kids.
on the original Kings of Comedy tour.
Fuck the kids.
I had to go watch that, and it's like, damn. Even today, still that set, that stand-up, is still classic today. It's timeless. But then I started to think to myself, I said,
Better get a receipt, my brother. Look, she bending over. Lord, have
respect to the other
the
guys
Lord
on
is
this
my
tour.
shepherd. He know what I want. Excuse me, brother. Miss Parker, Miss Parker. Can I talk to you?
And it got me to thinking,
We be letting you
if I
know.
were to redo the Kings
Evil
of
lurks.
Comedy of the 90s, who would have actually been on this tour?
How you gonna have racism in a country that don't belong to nobody? Except the Indians. How are you gonna have racism? Ain't nobody belong here. You got people go home. You go home too. You ain't from here, go home. You must have forgot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, Sinbad, in my opinion, definitely could have made the claim to be one of the kings of comedy in the 90s. Sinbad, who made his name off of the hit TV show A Different World, a show about black young adults trying to figure out life through college. And in my opinion, the MVP of that show, especially during the first few seasons, was for sure Sinbad, who played the mentor role and comic relief of the show, A Different World. And then from that, Sinbad would get his own show, The Sinbad Show, which only ran for one season because Sinbad had something that is kind of frowned upon within Hollywood, which is morals and integrity. And because Sinbad wasn't willing to play certain politics, that he only got one season of a show. I think the story is that they wanted him to do certain things like have a white love interest, but at least that's what I heard. And Sinbad was like, no, we're not doing that. That's just one of the few things that Sinbad had to deal with by having his own show. And if you watch the show, which I believe is still on YouTube, you can watch it. It's not a bad show. It's fine. It's a fine show. I mean, hell, Murphy Brown was around during this time. Murphy Brown that was winning all the Emmys and awards. It's like, this show is at least as good as Murphy Brown. But not only did he stand on business with his own show, but he stood on business in his movie roles as well, having a great run of movies, in my opinion, such as House Guest, which I don't know if y'all remember that movie. I remember that movie. I had it on VHS, along with another movie that I love, which was First Kid, a Disney movie. It's Jingle All the Way. Like, what are we talking about? And an underrated movie that I don't think people talk about enough, that I think is his best movie he's ever did, which was The Cherokee Kid. If y'all don't know about The Cherokee Kid, bro, find a way to look that up and watch that movie. I think it's his best one. Sinbad, who was always known to be a clean comedian, that's what I think what made him special from the rest, because during the 90s where everything was vulgar and explicit, parental advisory, Sinbad was able to keep it clean. But even in that, he did this TV movie in The Cherokee Kid that was a little vulgar, that was a little risque. You gotta go watch that movie, all-star cast. And had Gregory Hines, bruh. Gregory Hines, which also is another person that's underrated in terms of a talent. Like he did his damn, Sinbad did their thing in the movies that he was given, and any sitcom he was on. Good Burger. I mean, come on, I want a big booty burger. I want a big booty burger. Like, come on, man, I wasn't doing that, bro. Brother Reed, you done messed up my afro. Like, what are you talking about, dog? What are you talking about? And then when we get to his stand-ups through the 90s, like he started off the 90s with a special called Brain Damage, to where off of the success of A Different World, he did his stand-up at a college. Another one that is my personal favorite is the one in 93 called Afros and Bell Bottoms. I remember my dad getting that VHS from Blockbuster, bro. One of my favorites, to where again he's talking about not only world topics, but again what it's like to grow up as a kid in the 70s and how the world has changed and how parenting has changed, and just I love that stand-up from him. Again, wholesome comedy that doesn't come off as corny or quirky. It's just down to earth comedy. Sinbad was really him, bro. And I think one of the most underrated things that again people don't talk about is his crowd work, bro. I think there's a video on YouTube as we speak on from Netflix called Crowd Work, and how Sinbad was one of the kings of crowd work, which he was. Sinbad, when we talk about crowd work, we talk about using.
All right, bro. Can we move on to the next comedian, though?
The audience to feed off them, to piggyback off them, doing crowd and response things, to where they would say a topic or give a response, and Sinbad would use that one topic to do a whole set that sound as if he wrote it, but you know it's all freestyle, it's all improv. Like God, Sinbad was the man.
Let's speed it up a little bit more.
And when it came to that,
How many people have been fired? Been fired. You been fired? Where were you fired from? Yeah. County firm. What kind? You in jail? Accounting firm. You got fired from Price Waterhouse. Did you take money on the side? No, it's cool. Ain't nobody gonna tell. What point this out? What digitize your face? Why'd you get fired? Why'd you get fired? Oh, I don't know. See, wait a minute. I was just in there one day, and they tripped me. You don't know why you got fired. They said you was rude to a customer. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Customer ain't always right. Sometimes they're wrong. I'm gonna tell them. Customer's always right. I don't think so.
Going back to the 90s, Sinbad, without a shadow of a doubt, was one of the kings of comedy in the 90s. It was for sure the man. Speaking of being the man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It wouldn't be right if we ain't put Martin on here, bruh. It wouldn't be right if you ain't put Martin on here, dog. Martin, to be real with you, Martin and Chris Rock was probably the two best comedians of the 90s, by far. If we talking stand-up wise. Martin and Chris Rock was probably the two top dogs of the 90s. Everybody was on the come up. Chris Tucker had a little run, but you know, he went straight Hollywood. Eddie Griffin, I would say Eddie Griffin would be in the conversation in the 90s. Most definitely Eddie Griffin. But you know, he got his own TV show, and then you know, the comedy slowed down. So there's that. But everybody else was on the come up though. But Robin Harris would have definitely been the GOAT of the 90s if he would have lived past where he lived past, you know, his 30s. I think lived past his 30s going into his 40s. I think Robin Harris would have been top dog in the 90s without question. Just like that shit. I'm chilling on Vardell Hill. KC, JoJo, Devontae. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Martin Lawrence, bro, had it all. He had the hit TV show of Martin, which to this day people consider the greatest sitcom of all time. Watch episodes. I have friends that watch that show like it just came out. Like, legit, me included. Martin is the greatest sitcom of all time, and it's mostly because of Martin himself. Creating an environment of comedy that it just, you can't duplicate it. You can't redo it. There's only one Martin, man. Like, I don't know what to say. From the sitcom of Martin, Gina, Tommy Cole, Pam, and the characters that he did with Mama Payne and Dragonfly Jones and Jerome, like what? Roscoe, Shanae, like that's the stuff that it can't be redone. Like people try to redo it, it can't be redone, man. Martin is on his own is why Martin is a king of comedy. But then when you get to the movies, away from sitcoms, gets to the movies, bro. Starting off with House Party, Bilal being one of the MVPs of House Party, one of the co-stars, and then go from that into Bad Boys, the blockbuster with Will Smith with Bad Boys, that is still just recently did another sequel that broke all kinds of records. Like what? But it started in the 90s with the original Bad Boys with him and Will Smith. From that, going to Nothing to Lose, Blue Streak, my personal favorite, Life with Eddie Murphy. Like, what are we talking about, man?
Facts.
Like, just the genius of Life, that movie, which in all aspects should be a depressing movie because of the subject matter. But Martin and Eddie are able to work together as a duo to make it one of the most legendary movies of all time, which does include someone who we're going to talk about very shortly. But it's just like Martin, he was a king, man. He was a king, bruh. There's nothing else to say. And then we would talk about stand-ups. Def Comedy Jam, one of the toughest crowds to win over, again, because it's in New York. People said how they felt, whether they liked you, didn't like you, loved you, hated you, they let it be known. It was what it was. And the person that had to control that crowd, to host that crowd, was none other than Martin Lawrence, the very first Def Comedy Jam host. A legendary show, a legendary platform that spawned all kinds of icons and legends within the industry of comedy and entertainment. Martin was the one to hold that down for the first rendition of it. Then to go from that to his legendary stand-up of his own, which was You So Crazy, Deranged. I think that came out legit 30 years ago. Like, I think it just celebrated its anniversary of being out for 30 years. Again, that stand-up of Martin talking about the interrelationships between men and women and how we got to be better and get better in terms of communication and all that. And plus, he all kind of raunchy and explicit stuff in that sitcom that you probably couldn't get away with today. But it was so 90s. Martin was so 90s, bro. Like, Martin just had his own perspective and did things his own way. And for sure, when you look at You So Crazy, the water glisten all over your body. Like, what? No, Martin was wildin', bro. But Martin, without a shadow of a doubt, was for sure a king of comedy in the 90s.
Right.
You go, boy. When we talk about the throne and the king of comedy.
You a liar. You're all liars. All of you fucking liars. Masters of the lie. The visual lie. Look at you. You got on heels. You ain't that tall. You got on makeup. Your face don't look like that. You got to weave. Your hair ain't that long. You got a Wonder Bra and your titties ain't that big. Everything about you is a lie, and you expect me to tell the truth. Fuck you.
Facts. Tell it like it is, bro. Tell it like it is.
Yes, Chris Rock, in my opinion, for sure, was a king of comedy in the 90s. The nigga played Pookie, y'all. Pookie, a crackhead, a basshead. He did that thing in that movie, man. Somebody that's not considered really an actor, coming off of SNL. Like, yeah, he played that role to perfection. He's memorable in the classic, which is New Jack City, bruh. To go from that to then to play CB4, a leading role in CB4. Then we look at Lethal Weapon, all the classics that he'll have. Boomerang, he played a small role in. Like, what we talking about, bro? And then something that I don't think anybody ever talks about. Something that people don't ever talk about is Chris Rock had his own show, y'all. Yes, Chris Rock had his own show. In the mid to late 90s, he was given his own late night TV show on HBO. That TV show was a mixture of kind of going off of the popularity of the Arsenio Hall show, which eventually went off the air in the mid 90s, and then also using that platform to do his skits in his comedy, and also giving that platform to up and coming aspiring artists or legends that didn't get the proper respect they deserved, from comedians to actors to singers, R&B acts and rappers. Like, he had all kinds of talent, specifically black talent, on that show. Go look up the guests that were on that show, man. Like, it's a range of talent. Even Bernie Mac himself.
The irony.
But like, he had a range of people.
The irony that you would show him and Jada Pinkett together. The fucking irony. I got rid of that Will Smith slap. Smith slap me, but the fucking irony though, bro. The fucking irony, bruh.
Will you be out there selling houses with big punch, son?
Yo, shout out to Season, man.
Yo, that's how the big son. This nigga bought big punch.
Shout out to my
And the
brother.
nigga selling houses.
Dirty bitch.
Homie?
Really, nigga?
The irony, bruh. The irony that you would show a clip of him and Jada Pinkett together of all the people. Of all the people you could have put, of all the people, Jada Pinkett was the one you chose. The irony, bruh.
People on that show, and again, he was given a platform to people that deserved it, that earned it, and as well as doing his own comedy. One day we might have to do a deep dive on the Chris Rock show, because hot damn. When we look back at that show and what he produced with it, Ezra's show is underrated. But even going off of the Chris Rock show, which I'm shocked lasted 5 seasons, by the way. I thought it only lasted like 2 seasons. It lasted 5 seasons. I'm like, nigga, what? But even going off of that, in my opinion, I stand on this. The 2 best stand-ups of any comedian in the 90s was Bring the Pain and Bigger and Blacker. And the reason why I think it stood out from the rest is specifically because Chris Rock was basically giving the perspective of what it's like to be black in America in the 90s. Like, you look at that comedy he was doing, he was talking about what it's like, man. The racism, the systemic oppression, all that, but keeping it comedic, also talk about the interrelationships between men and women. You know, the infamous, love black people, hate niggas. Like, nobody else was able to.
This was Chris Rock before he sold his soul to the goddamn Democrats. Before he sold his soul to the Democrats to boost his career. This was the Chris Rock that we all loved and grew up with, bro. I want to say Chris Rock, after the 2009 special he did, I forgot the name of it, but it was a 2009 special. It was the one where he did a special in 3 different places, so you would see his outfit change. I think he did it in Brooklyn, London, and Africa. Did it in 3 different places. That was like the last bit of Chris Rock. After that 2009, that nigga sold his soul to the Democrats. Facts. And we supposed to feel sorry for this nigga because Will Smith slapped him. Nigga, you sold your soul. You sold your soul to get ahead, bro. Fuck out of here. Will Smith's slap just boosted it. That's all it was.
Break down what it's like to be black in America the way Chris Rock has since like Paul Mooney or Richard Pryor. Like, nobody has been able to really do that at that particular time outside of Chris Rock. And again, he was so intelligent, very intelligent. Someone who was known to read the newspaper every single day, to read the news so that he could relay the news to us, right? Like, nobody was doing it like he was, man. And again, like, those stand-ups, man, Bring the Pain, Bigger and Blacker, bruh. Man.
Them stand-ups went platinum in the hood. Those stand-ups went diamond in the hood, nigga. Nigga, we all had that illegal cable and we all had them VHS tapes, nigga. We had the VHS tapes ready to record that shit so we could play it back. Everybody had that shit off the VCR recorder, bruh. Everybody had that off the VCR recorder, bruh. And you didn't have all the VCR recorders, somebody was distributing that shit. Nigga, you gotta remember, bruh. People in the back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, before DVDs was popping, we was some creative ass niggas, bruh. The bootleg man, y'all gotta remember the bootleg man used to sell them bootlegs on tape. Y'all don't even remember them days. Y'all don't know what it's like, bruh. Nigga, y'all don't know what it's like, bruh. What you was supposed to do was you was supposed to go to Block, but you supposed to get the dual deck VCR. Go to Blockbuster, rent a couple of movies out, record them on the tape, and just have them on a loop. Rewind it back and just do it all fucking day. get about at least, you try to get at least about 20, you try to get at least about 20 to 30 tapes max, and then sell them bitches for $10 a pop. We was some creative motherfuckers back then, boy. I know plenty of people. I know niggas that was selling that that baller blocking VHS, the Cash Money Records movie. Nigga, that shit went, nigga, that's a certified hood classic. That shit went diamond in the hood. But ain't nobody buy the legit tape though. Nobody ever bought the legit tape. What you would do was you just buy it from the nigga that was selling it for the low. The VHS tapes used to be like $20 at the store. Bootleg man selling them for $10. Let's go holler at the bootleg man. Hey man, it's a good old times, man. Like I said, if you had to do a deck DVD, if you had to do a deck VCR, they can't tell you nothing because all you had to do was just pull up the Best Buy and be like, let me get that movie real quick. You rent that movie out for $5 just to get that movie. You rent that movie out for $5 just to get that movie for free for the rest of your life. The good old days.
When we talk about King of Comedy, you got to talk about Chris Rock, man. Then last but certainly not least, the person that this video is all about, in all honesty. The man that you cannot replace. Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, who, in my opinion, was the...
I thought you was talking about him at the beginning, though, but I digress.
MVP of comedy in the 90s. When you think of a movie, a classic movie or a sitcom, at one particular point, Bernie Mac was probably on it. And what people don't talk about enough is the range in his comedy as well, and the range of him as a talent. When we look back on his movies he's done, like Above the Rim, playing basically a bum character, but he was able to give it a certain empathy of it, to where he was able to be comedic, but also you felt bad for him at the same time. Then to go from that until playing the preacher roles, from like Booty Call to Friday. We call that a little city sin.
Around here, between Norman and the Westin, we call this here a little twin. Right, nigga.
He played a game.
Better to give than receive, my brother.
Like I said, life is one of my favorite movies of all time. He was able to play jingling. Somehow, Bernie Mac was able to play. He was able to play
like a girl,
a gay man in the 90s, when you know homophobia runs wild in the black community. But yeah, he was able to do it to where he didn't come off necessarily feminine, but he was able to do it to where I don't know how he did it. Like, he was able to play the role.
This nigga was a predator, bro. The fuck you mean? This nigga was playing a predator, bro. This nigga was on the prowl in jail, bro. That's what he was. He was a predator in jail. But he was funny as hell, though. That's how he pulled it off.
To where it wasn't awkward. It was funny. I mean, come on. Eyes up happy. There's gonna be trouble. Like I don't know how he did it. To this day, I don't understand how he did it, but he did it. And then, of course, probably his greatest role he ever did in terms of a movie was Players Club. Right? I'm down the bill, Chi-Town. Like,
oh no, Players Club was his best role. Players Club was his best role by far. Bucket naked. Said, motherfucker, pay me.
The display of comedy, he did that damn thing. Again,
I paid him for the goddamn thing.
Players Club.
Chi-Town.
Bucket nakeds. Like, there's no way anybody wrote that line, bucket nakeds. That had to be on him, bruh. Again, like, there's no one like Bernie Mac, man. He is everybody's favorite uncle, dog. He was a man's man. Like, Bernie Mac had a certain energy, charisma about him, an aura about him that you just couldn't match. Like, only Bernie Mac had it. He had a certain swag and attitude about him. Like, you couldn't match it, bro. Like, it was all Bernie Mac, man. Bernie Mac being Bernie Mac, dog. And then when we go to actual comedy, when we go to his actual stand-up, what is remarkable is he was able to do something that no one else can say they have done. Like I said it before, Def Comedy Jam, one of the greatest platforms in comedy history. It spawned tons of talent, men and women, black and white. It's well, mostly black, but tons of talent that went on to become icons in entertainment. However, Bernie Mac can say, within the history of Def Comedy Jam, I had the greatest set of all time.
I'm in a bar minding my business, cooling out, just being cool, like I am, chilling. Woman gonna come to me, she just asked you the goddamn things you wanna do. She said, Mac, I said, yeah, that's my name. She said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She says, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie? Made me mad as hell. So don't ask me no damn
a question like that. Yeah, the pumpkin pie. Yeah. You don't understand. But shit.
You understand? I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You don't understand? I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, which was not even something that he planned to do. It was spawned from seeing a person bomb before him when he got on stage and said, you know what? I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be me. They're gonna like me whether they want to or not. Kick it! Man, he had the greatest set in Def Comedy Jam history of all the people that were on that stage, on that platform. He can say, I had the greatest, most memorable set ever. Come on. If that don't make you a king in itself, I don't know what does. But then even getting off of Def Comedy Jam, of course, his most infamous set outside of that is his set on the original Kings of Comedy. The whole Milk and Cookies. He was the anchor. The anchor was the closer, the last person to do their set on the tour. He wasn't even meant to.
No, actually, this was debunked. Shout out to Amir. This was debunked. Bernie Mac went on before Cedric. Cedric actually ended off the show. But Bernie Mac's set was so fucking good that the editors put Bernie on last to make it seem like he was the best one. Realistically, during that show, that live show, Cedric was the one that ended off the show. So Bernie Mac was not the headliner. He went on before Cedric. Cedric went on after him. But the editors flipped it. The editors of the movie flipped it. So there you go. If you didn't know, now you know.
Originally be the anchor of the show. It was supposed to be, that tour was supposed to be about Steve Harvey, for real. If you know the history.
Fuck Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey was originally the anchor, but Bernie Mac was the best. And after a while, it's like, Bernie Mac gotta close the show, bruh. It has to be Bernie Mac. He's killing it too much. He has to be the anchor, dog. It's clear as day. And Steve Harvey, we all know the history between Steve Harvey and Bernie throughout the years, but it's just like, Bernie Mac was undeniable. He became the anchor, became the closer of the tour. And again, the infamous moments in that set from Milk and Cookies, to where in the actual film, Bernie Mac and the rest of the crew Bernie Mac talked about not having a hit TV show. He was making fun of it, but also you could tell he kind of felt away. Like, he kind of felt away. He talking about Steve Harvey and said got a show, DL got a show. Where my show, man? They scared I'm gonna say something. You motherfucker right. Like, that's Bernie Mac, man. You scared I'm gonna say something. Shit, you motherfucker right. What we talking about, nigga?
I ain't got no television show. Why? Because you scared of me. Scared I'm gonna say something. You motherfucker right. Think I won't say something? Let me tell you something. Y'all been fucking with me for a long time, but I'm back.
Like, Bernie Mac, dog, he spoke his success and like he spoke it into existence. He manifested his success of having a hit TV show. And it was all done through his hard work and dedication, through his own set of this fake story of him taking care of his sister's children. Yeah, my family fucked up. Your family fucked up too. Like, again, because of his relatability, his honesty, his authenticity. You can connect. He is Uncle Bernie, man. That is real, dog. That story of him taking care of his sister's children and 2, 4, and 6. Ooh, how many raise these motherfuckers? Like what? Like, what are we talking about, dog? And the fact that he was able to make that an actual TV show into a successful show with the Bernie Mac show, like, dog, that is legendary. That is iconic. Like, hot damn, I still can't believe that nigga gone, dog. I still can't believe brother gone, man. Like, Bernie Mac, the Mac man. A man that stood on business. Like he would say a lot, he walked alone, stood on his integrity, stood on his morality. Never allowed Hollywood to change who he was. Never allowed Hollywood to try to make him to something that he didn't want to be. He moved through grace.
I'm Floyd
He moved
motherfucking
through his
Henderson.
intelligence. He moved
You can't skip,
the way he
sing,
wanted to.
or
He walked
motherfucking hunt
alone.
without me. You fossil
Bernie,
face
we love you, we
motherfucker.
respect you. We miss you. And the only thing that I'm pissed off about Bernie about is one particular joke that he did do on the tour, but he didn't do when the tour was filmed, technically. He has one particular joke that I think explains Bernie Mac to perfection. One joke that lets you know how he felt about himself and his people. One particular joke that I love so much that I don't care how I have to edit this, I'm going to show you it in its entirety. Because this, my friend, is who Bernie Mac is. Again, we love you, we miss you, and your legacy will live on.
Bucket naked.
We got black folks, black folks, we gotta get stronger though, we do. We gotta be tighter. We gotta quit asking people to give us something, keep looking for shit, keep asking motherfuckers to march for us. We gotta take care of our fucking home. I'm telling you, like,
I think I know what this joke is. This is a deep joke. This is a deep. It's deep. It's a hard hitting joke, but it's real. It's deep though. I like this joke. I actually do like this joke. I know exactly what he trying to get off here.
it is. I had a dream. Man, that I was in I passed. And I went to heaven. And I was with a Mexican guy and a white guy. And I said, man, I want to go to heaven. He said, God, right down the road. I said, well, how far? He said, just a half a mile. He said, but your name ain't on the list, Bernie. You know your name ain't on the goddamn list. I said, well, wait a minute, man. I said, I'm going to try. He said, well, you got one more chance to make it. If you can go down there and you ask the Lord a question and he can't answer it, you might get into heaven. Well, me, the white guy, the Puerto Rican, we walked our ass on down there, and sure enough, God was on the gate, reading the National Enquirer. And the white guy said, I'm going to go first. No, you always got to go first. I'm going to go first. He went over to the Lord. He whispered in the Lord's ear. He said, who discovered America? And the Lord laughed. Christopher Columbus. He said, God, I'm sorry, going on down the hill. The Puerto Rican said, I got it. En la puta de la isla, en la chacha, ¿qué pasa? He said, who sang? How many was in the Beatles? I said, don't get the heck on out of here, man. 4, man. Go on. I said, okay. So he looked at me. I looked at him. He looked at me. I looked at him. And I whispered something to the Lord. And he looked at me. And he looked up. He looked down. He said, Open the gate! I walked on in. The white guy said, that's bullshit, man. How the fuck did he get in there? That's bullshit. He said, hey, Father, what did the black guy ask you? He asked me, when was black people ever gonna stick together?